Hello everyone, this is East Dragon, and welcome back to another episode of Fire Emblem Heroes. Here we are once again at the end of Light Season. Of course, we didn't have either the bonus mythics this week like last time, but unlike last time, we're actually staying in Vault. Of course, last season that was because we lost that, or last time we lost one match, and that's how it goes. We had to do the same thing this season, not lose an entire match. Otherwise, of course, we can't stay in Vault if our defense performs poorly. So, without further ado, let's get into our replays. Of course, if we were actually tryharding, we could have used Legendary Chrom or V-Arm as our bonus and score our usual plus 218 and that kind of deal. But I don't know why we're alternating between units and structures, but sure. This time around, defense, the biggest quirk again with Legendary Chrom being bonus is he gets plus 10 HP. So Seliph can't actually proc infantry pulse for him, but we still have enough charges and Nils Sylvia's infantry pulse and then times pulse here. It's just the quirk of if someone snipes down one of our infantry pulse units turn 1 or chips them down so that they can't proc infantry pulse and legendary chrom. That's kind of a problem, unlike previous times. And then the only other thing is running Harsh Command plus attack speed far trace and attack speed soul on legendary Lona purely for the heck of it. Didn't really care too much. Figured it would just be a meme to have Harsh Command Plus on her. More options for our enemy to isolate if they want to.
I won't lose.
Overall, on offense, we definitely had some reasonably challenging matches, but from the actual gameplay perspective, it wasn't too bad like usual, because we fortunately were able to cheese our way through some of the difficult matches by realizing we only have one or two options available to possibly win cleanly. So we just have to do our daily damage calcs to evaluate if they would work. And well, what do you know? At least one of the options worked every match because we came out perfectly fine on offense. We've also got a mix of rigged shenanigans in terms of our daily damage calcs. Most of the time it was benefiting the opponent. There was only one match, actually there were two matches. They were the hardest matches of the season. Well, we got a couple things to just go in our favor. That's all we needed to win. One of the matches, there was a Medius, 2 Brave Seliphs, Brave Chrom, not Duo Dagger, and Triandra. So, definitely featuring some of the new Brave units, Brave heroes. But the thing about that matchup, of course, we have to figure out how we're going to deal with Brave Seliph. The guy's got Miracle, he's pretty fast, and he gets no follow-up. We can't prevent him from attacking, for example, Ash twice, unless somehow we could get her fast enough to prevent that from happening, which of course was not a thing. No way in heck we would get her to avoid the double from Brave Seliph unless we could one-shot him, and of course he has Miracle. So we were able to luck sack that match because their Medius was here, and their frontline Brave Seliph was there, where Sylvia is right now. AKA, he's out of range of On Guard. I wonder what that means. If you aren't familiar with our offense shenanigans, we've pretty much used Bolt Tower and Column 3 for years now. I think every single season. For quite a long time now, we've been using Bolt Tower in Column 3. So, of course, that means Bolt Tower can actually proc on that Brave Seliph, and they didn't have Healing Tower on their defense layout. So, all we had to do was get a unit to survive one attack from Brave Celeb, and we would be in business. Then we could activate the rest of their team without much trouble. Problem, of course, was naturally things had to be rigged against our favor. I calced to see if Nino could survive Brave Celeb, because of course, he would be moving 4 spaces, so he gets that dealt damage based off of 40% of the foe's defense, which is quite a lot. And unfortunately for Nino, Brave Celeb, it was an unmerged one too, so that tells you how far we have to go for our Nino memes. She was getting exactly 1 shot, and I calced it a couple of times to make sure I wasn't overlooking something, but no, it was just an exact 1 shot. So sad. Couldn't meme with Nino there. And so, of course, naturally,
I do not play games.
our only other 2 options were Milla and Ash. Unfortunately for us, Ash was able to survive with 1 HP. So bad. So we got that part, fortunately, on our side, so we were able to bait out that Brave Celeb. And so then I had to figure out how do we want to set up our units for the following turn, because of course all of our units are going to be charging into us. We need to be able to nuke them. So I came up with a meme strategy that what if I did the thing that I mentioned in my video about the Brave Heroes. What if I just set it up so a unit doesn't actually have to move to attack Celeb and pick up the kill? And voila, what do you know? You actually pull off and these are the kinds of matches I totally want to record, but unfortunately I just don't have the time anymore. It did take well over an hour to do everything and plan everything, make sure everything was right, unfortunately. So we ended up having Brave Celeb moved in such a way where he was 2 spaces away from Nino. And the thing about Brave Celeb's kit is that, again, his proc condition involves himself or the enemy moving from their original space to enter combat. So attack speed clash doesn't proc. If you attack him in place. So Nino, thanks to Kaiden's help, was able to 1-round KO Celeb because she got enough speed to double him. And then from there, it was just more damage calcs to make sure we could take out Duo Dagger and Not. And then after that, it was just Medius, Brave Chrom, and was Triandra still there? I don't remember. At that point, it was a one match, so it was a pretty nice match, but unfortunately didn't get to record it. The only other match that was reasonably super challenging was the last match of the season. Again, it always feels like the last match of the season just happens to be super difficult, but that's totally not, because by that point we're reasonably high up in tier 37 on the cusp of tier 38. No, doesn't have to do anything with that. So it was a team again with Pathfinder shenanigans, Legendary Sigurd, Brave Chrom, Dual Lift. Who else was there? There's Asker. Was there Asker? I don't think there was Asker. I don't actually remember 10 out of 10. But once again, we leverage memes to our advantage, also known as our daily damage calcs, that allowed us to discover that we could actually cheese our way to victory by having Ash bait out their Legendary Sigurd, and then I calculated out that she would be able to survive Dual Lift, and because I could put 3 units within 3 spaces of her, she prevented Dual Lift from attacking twice using his guaranteed follow-up attack. So we cheesed from there. Which is pretty nice, but I don't think we would have had any other reasonable options if that didn't work. So, like if Dual Lift was way too fast for Ash to handle, which generally I don't think is possible for the average player running Dual Lift on defense. But yeah, the problem was all the range overlapping. Of course, I wanted to use Air or Nino to snipe down. They're not, and then just run away, bait out the Dual Lift kind of deal. But we couldn't do that since we're doing the Don't Activate Traps challenge, which makes getting our units in and out pretty difficult for a hit and run, so yeah, that was not an option. But yeah, overall on offense, it was perfectly fine. Down the road, once people get more merged Brave Cephalops, I don't know how we're gonna deal with them without real memes going down. Because of course, unlike Legendary Sigurd, he's much more available, so that's definitely a problem for us. He's just more readily available as an annoying sword tab unit. It's even harder to kill in Ether Raid's defense. At least with Legendary Sigurd, if you can survive his attacks, you can also just one-round heal him back, especially if you're doubling. So you won't have damage reduction after the first attack, or maybe he doesn't even have damage reduction on the first attack because he got himself into Mantis Drain. Who knows, but at the end of the day, we get into some really weird scenarios that we can't exactly handle too well when there's miracle movement. So I think down the line, we're gonna have to pull some real shenanigans. Our best option by far would be to straight up one-round KO with like Nino, which is generally not feasible. First of all, he's red, and two, the moment he chucks on lull speed defense, which may or may not be in base kit, we're gonna have a few problems. First of all, doubling him back, and two, actually having enough attack to bring him down to 1 HP after one attack. And the thing with units like Ash is her HP is just way too low to tank her Milla, and of course she's going to have to take 2 attacks, which for our particular case probably just means death. Because Ash taking 2 attacks where 40% of her defense goes into dealt damage. Her HP stats, basically all of her HP already gone, and we haven't even gotten to Brave Cephalops' actual attack stats, so kind of a problem. Speaking of problem though, this Fallen Shield, Fallen Fatal Guard can just drop wall, not a surprise. It would be kind of sad if we lost to Legendary Chrom and company.
Meet your defeat.
With Swollen Shield active. Because of course, without Swollen Shield, of course, he'd probably still survive, but at least she wouldn't take as much damage. Well, here she's taking quite a bit of damage, but not enough to die, so that's all that matters in Ether Raids. Unfortunately, we can't get an AoE off on her, so we can just heal back and really do about it. Yeah, going forward, even units like Brave Chrom, for example, one thing that makes them super dangerous, especially with a unit like Brave Cephalops, is he can get that +1 movement and he'll follow up, which is huge for Brave Chrom. Those are 2 things he definitely would like to have. Which is why people are running Brave Chrom when they're using him offensively with units like Yuri, who come with that +1 movement bonus. And also, Yuri's an infantry unit.
I want to help.
So he can get affected by infantry speed tactic. So that's how Brave Chrom can get no follow-up in the +1 movement. There's some other options, of course. Some people are using him with Harmonized Catchery, of course, because
You can do better.
She's pretty much a big staple for offensive units going further in terms of power. There's
No
nothing
longer alone.
like quadding in this game with a ton of dealt damage. Of course, Brave Chrom doesn't come with dealt damage, but if you really wanted to, you can give him a bonus that allows him to get some dealt damage. Totally within the realm of possibilities. But yeah, we chose Brave Female Violet purely for the memes. Right now, Brave Seliph or Brave Chrom for the super long term are definitely the better picks in my opinion. Just because, again, if you actually run your calcs and see how much damage Brave Female Violet will realistically do, it's not that much.
My heart.
As funny as that sounds, they say somehow, somewhere, she can get like 80 speed. She'll get plus, what is that? Plus 20 damage from plus 20 boosted damage and then plus 16 dealt damage on her next attack. That's still a good amount of damage, but against stuff like damage reduction, it's just nowhere near enough. I don't know what to do, but we just purely picked her for the memes. Down the line, we may eventually get Brave Seliph and Brave Chrom from free summons or whatnot. Or if we really want to, get some particular fodder. I don't think Attack Speed Clash, for example, is going to be readily available by the time their Hero Fest returns. I feel like, we could burn some orbs, but I definitely want to prioritize getting, of course, first Milla to plus 10 next month, and Duo Chrom to plus 10. So unfortunately, on our Hero Fest summoning, we only got one copy of them, and instead we got 5
Corin's the coolest.
ninjas. Kind of unfortunate there, but what can you do about it? But here, we'll execute a turn 1, by the way. They got 2 of our units down, and they're in a good position to nuke some more.
Tear 'em to shreds.
I don't know what to think of this respect in terms of what we should really be investing in. I know Duo Chrom is definitely an investment I'm not going to regret. Just a matter of who's next.
Corin's the
That's
coolest.
kind of the problem here. I don't know who is going to be building up next after that. At some point, if we want to actually be plonking permanently, well, not permanently, but reasonably long with our current blessing shenanigans, for example, the Coliseum modes, we're going to need at least one other maxed out wind or fire legendary hero. And right now, I'm not sure who I would want to build for that. Definitely not legendary Xander. That sounds like a horrible investment long term.
I can sing no more.
But I'm not entirely sure what we're going to be doing after plus 10 Duo Chrom, and of course we actually have to do it. So if we don't get him to plus 10 early next year when he comes back, that's going to definitely put a dent into our plans. There's also this thing where we're being really stingy with our blessings. I don't like to constantly have to re-bless units. Even though, because I've been stingy, we have a huge, reasonably large stockpile. It's not that large. Like, we don't have... I know for some people it's going to sound weird, but we don't even have 100 of each legendary blessing. Not even. But over time, if we keep burning them every week, constantly swapping around, it definitely adds up. So of course, this is a Gale Force team, and naturally our team is pretty meh against Gale Force. Once again, I intentionally set up our defense so that if our opponent would like, they can do Gale Force shenanigans. They can corner whatchamacallit, Legendary Lilina if they so choose, or they could do a number of other things we won't mention, but cornering legendary Luna is the simplest one. Quite straightforward. Since most of our traps are not in melee range close to our units, and they're using mostly melee here for their Gale Force shenanigans. There's nothing really to worry about there. And here, they're just going to use their dance to get the train started with Summer Dimitri. Now they can use Brave Marianne, of course, to pick up the kill, and the Requiem Dance is able to give Brave Dimitri another action. That allows him to actually proc Gale Force no matter who he attacks at this point. We don't have to guard on our team, so it's free real estate for special proccing. Of course, Asker himself, pretty solid unit for Gale Force, similar to Ash. But of course, Asker is bonus, so he gets even more HP here. More bulk, more attack. And I guess more speeds can be relevant in some matchups, so that's always nice. But of course, again, our team is not very well designed for dealing with Gale Force. It's not meant to be. And here, Zelith is barely going to get 2 shots by Summer Dimitri. Unfortunate, but that's how it goes. And as you can see there, they just cornered legendary Lilna. Definitely reasonable. Nothing mind-blowing there, and pretty straightforward win for our opponent. And here we have a team with Ymir, so I think we all know how this is gonna go. We either hyper nuke or get wall. That's the only 2 ways this can possibly go. And well, I'm surprised I didn't see more Ymirs on defense. I feel like she would be annoying on defense, but I guess AoE's still reasonably popular. I don't know. But Bramon, of course, going to get walled by Sendu.
I will crush you.
Bramon is just so reliant on his guaranteed follow-up attack in this day and age. And any effects that wins it over definitely gives him a hard time, and of course his attack stat is not super high. So, for this day and age, it's not super high. So, and he's a mythic, which means he's just in a mess spot right now. I'm not sure what they would do for remix on him. He definitely needs help against damage reduction. I don't know if it's an intelligent idea to make him penetrable dark. Ignore damage reduction or something. That still seems relatively quote-unquote balanced, I would say, as long as he doesn't get massive damage output increase, but I don't know. Parts here, the usual shenanigans of Legendary Chrom not dying initially, and then he just gets picked off later. Well, here, Legendary Lilna is just way out in left field. So, not much we can do here, of course. No way we're beating Valentine Lucino with our melee units. It comes to AoE, but of course, Thunder Zoom's out of range, and there's absolutely no shot. Legendary Lilna killed anyways, I don't think. The Jesting Triangle still exists at the end of the day. And well, all I have to do is grab the ether structures now. It shouldn't be too difficult, of course, because Nils is still alive, so we can just stall him out and yoink the ether structures. Looks like we're just kind of derping around here. See if they can grab the ether structures here.
You're going to love this.
No, they should be able to, I think. Yeah, especially since Nils is going after... I forgot he'd be going after new spell, so that should be easy stuff to pick up. Wonder who they're going to kill with though. Who are they farming SP for? Looks like it's new spell. still don't have Restore or Nipple. They're definitely pretty darn nice support units with their C-slots. But unfortunately for us, we got walled. And well, once again, this looks like a Gale Forcey kind of team. I haven't watched these replays at this point, so I don't know what's exactly going on. But yeah, looks like Gale Force. I do find this kind of interesting though, they're running Fury 7 on Summer Edelgard. It does make sense in the respect that after exactly 2 combats, even if she hasn't taken any damage from enemies, she will be in Wings of Mercy range. It just happens to coincide perfectly that way. But the thing is, her weapon has an HP threshold, so she's gonna fall out of that pretty quickly. They're gonna have to figure out how to deal with Seliph. I guess they have Bolt Tower here. That'll definitely help out.
I'll study your
Okay,
technique.
that Raging Storm goes off, so now she can attack again. So now she's in Wings of Mercy range. Seems good so far. Alright, killing Sylvia there. Yep, looks like they're planning to corner Nils here. See how they take out Legendary Chrom because he is pretty annoying at times.
I wish you luck.
They actually go for the kill on Solid. Summer Edelgard, which I'm pretty sure is incorrect because now she took 1 damage. That's unfortunate. Her HP threshold is 25%. 14 out of 56 is 25%. That's unfortunate. Now she can't even double
I'll
Chrom.
study your technique.
Actually, straight up. Wait a
I
second.
wish
She
you
wouldn't
luck.
have even. She wouldn't have been able to kill with. Wait, no. She would have been able to kill with 3 shots or 4 shots. But by the time that happened, wait. Let me think about this. Yeah, Legendary Lilna wouldn't be cornered, so I don't think this was going to work regardless. They definitely should have slapped Wings of Mercy on Asker or something. They needed more support. More support for the Gale Force teleporting in, I should say. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Imagine taking 1 damage from Seliph. That's unfortunate. Alright, we got ourselves an interesting team here. Let's see what they do. It's a very interesting Brave Erica. It's not too often that you see people running a more enemy phase type Brave Erica. Like, when's the last time you've seen the almighty distance stance Brave Erica? They're stacking speed-based damage reduction too, which is definitely pretty nice for her because she definitely needs it. I don't know about Soul though, it's kind of weird. Of course they don't have, Surge Sparrow, so there's no healing from proccing a special like Luna, so I guess it does make some sort of sense. Unfortunately here we can't chase down because we made our team immune, so. Brave Erica doing a walking 8 times 2, but now she's going to of course have her debuff removed, and she actually is going to proc her special, the sweet juicy dealt damage, so that's a kill. Alright. Alright, easily going to Walnuts and pick up the 1-shot anyways. Now it's red units and Nils, I guess, against Brave Erica. This shouldn't end well for us. Brave Erica is
I cannot fall.
going to be too tanky for us here. Happens to work out for them here. Of course, things might have been different had our units actually been able to go attack when they went for the hit and run, but of course, have a meme set up anyways, so they usually doesn't.
I will never yield.
Of course, Selph's not going to kill with Ignis, but That's still a good amount of damage through the damage reduction, so can't complain there. Now I can just pick up ether structure. I don't know if you saw that, but that was kind of set that I forgot I set. 10 out of 10. If you didn't, my phone vibrated, so you probably heard that in the mic, I'm pretty sure. Well, with that, we happen to Luxac here, and the timing of our matches meant we only lost Lift at the very end of the season here, which is definitely nice. As you can see, not top 1k, maxed out on defense, of course, and overall, not a bad season. I've already seen Resident Battles, of course, double harmonized hero stonks. Arena here, I actually don't know what the cutoff's going to be, but it doesn't look like you're going to need 3,880. But I'll have to keep an eye on it. I don't think I'm going to keep a very close eye on it because we still have, what is that, 139 ranks to go. It's getting closer to the end of the season. View arm bonus apparently isn't enough to drive up the cutoffs to the usual 764 required for every match, aka 3,880. But Arena Assault here, not too shabby. Once again, Duo Chrom just being annoying for us. We need more. It's light and dark season, that's why we have much fewer techs against Duo Chrom, but we still managed. And definitely liking Fear Charm. For some reason, it completely blanked my mind that Legendary Sheeta had the auto advantage against Cav units, so I brought Legendary Leaf planning to take her out, and I was like, wait a second, this doesn't work. So we bailed ourselves out there with the Fear Charm, 0 out of 10. Other than that, but this is the last, yesterday or something was the end of Binding Worlds. We ended up only getting 1 unit to level 99. We got a bit unfortunate RNG, so we couldn't hyper level. But had I known this leveling technique sooner, I would have done it. I was originally just leveling up Nana 1 level by 1 level. Now I know in the future, I believe it is possible to get all 4 units to level 99. You just have to get some bit of luck because there's a limited amount of stamina for that mode. But it's just a fun mode at the end of the day anyways. So we'll be back when the results drop in.